to today's video. My name's Amy if you're new here, and today we have a bit of a different video. Today we're going to be chatting about what it's been like being single for a whole year. I think the year was up on like the 22nd of June or something like that. I'm filming this and uploading it, but I'm well far ahead in my scheduling, so we're coming to you from the past. But yes, it's officially been a year since I have become single, and I thought I would give you guys my tips and tricks of how to stay happy, how to keep busy, and how to just keep yourself rolling if you are single. And yeah, I might split this video up into kind of sections, but let's give you a little backstory first. I was with my partner for about 3 years, on and off, and there's not really a bad word to say. It was very mutual, and we decided to part ways. And yeah, there's no bad blood, which is really, really lovely. I love that. I feel like quite often when we go through breakups, we kind of want to be angry at the other person, as I feel like it's a little bit easier if we're angry and can hate them. But there is literally no bad blood, and he's still a really good friend. So I know that, you know, he's proud of me, I'm proud of him, and that's a really nice way to be, I think. So that's kind of the basis of the background. But to be honest, also in the background, I feel like I need to tell you is that I've been in a relationship pretty much since I've been like 14, 15. I've been in a couple of long-term relationships, a couple of little ones, and yeah, I feel like I really thrive in a relationship. So I was very worried about being single and kind of what that would look like for me. I love having someone to kind of put my care and attention into, and was kind of worried about being single and how I'd kind of cope. I know all my friends and family have said I've coped so much better than they thought I would. I think I'm someone who is really naturally independent, but when I have someone there, I tend to want to do everything with them, which I think we all kind of get in the habit of doing. When you find someone, you kind of want to do all the fun things with them because you want to spend your time with them. And I think although you don't necessarily lose yourself, I think quite often you can become very reliant on doing stuff with that certain person rather than like doing stuff yourself, which is something I never really did. So next, I actually learned how to drive literally the day before me and my ex split up, which meant that I had some sort of freedom that I'd never had before because I could drive this time. And there's something about being able to drive, take myself to the shops, to the cinema, for food, whatever, that gave me that whole extra level of freedom that they always tell you about. You know, everyone says that when you pass your driving test, you can't imagine life without it, and it really is true. I love driving and I love the freedom that it gives me, and I feel like it coincided so well in timing that I could kind of take myself out now and have the freedom of being able to drive myself wherever I wanted to, whether that was to a date or shopping or whatever. But I started to kind of learn to do things by myself. I definitely did this section by section. I didn't kind of go full in and take myself out for a show one evening. I definitely worked my way up. So I started with just going shopping by myself, just up the high street, then worked my way up to shops I'd not been used to before, somewhere different. And then I took myself out for a Nando's as my first kind of level up into having food by myself. I also took myself to the cinema quite a lot, which was a big thing for me. And the cinema is definitely my favourite activity to do solo because literally you don't talk in the cinema anyways. It's a perfect place to go by yourself because no one really cares. And I love going to the cinema by myself. And I thought that was one of my first big steps. I then leveled up for my Nando's and went for a Wagamama's by myself. And then I also did go to a comedy show by myself in London. Now, this was definitely the biggest thing I did, and was actually the same night I had my first Nando's by myself. But I went in and it was kind of in this theatre, and they had like music playing before, they had like live bands, they had comedy, like comedians come up, and you kind of did just kind of stand around. I feel like if I was seated, I would have felt a lot more comfortable, but you kind of were just standing around. There's bars all around, you could get yourself a drink, but to be honest, it was absolutely fine. And again, no one was looking at me like, why are you here by yourself? I think we're so wrapped up in the thought that people are going to judge us for being somewhere by ourselves. In reality, I feel like if I saw someone do that, I'm like, you go, like that's so amazing. So yes, I started taking me out on what I call myself my solo dates, where I do like go to a date activity or a stereotypical date activity, but just by myself. And I started trying to channel that love and attention and kind of pure, I don't know, I just put so much effort into someone when I'm in a relationship that all I think about is them. I want to make sure they're happy, I want to make sure they're thriving, and I just tried to channel that into myself. I think quite soon after my relationship, my friend Holly kind of got all of the wrath of my love. I was just like, I want to literally shower you in all my love, because I was like, and she was like, Amy, you need to stop buying me gifts, making me cookies. And I was like, I've just got so much love to give, and I'd always been able to just channel that into my partner. But then being able to kind of channel that into myself is something I learned quite soon, is that like the love I want to give, I can just give to myself, and whether that's a compliment in the mirror or a little gift to myself. yeah, it definitely kind of worked on myself in terms of treating myself with the same love I'd give someone else. Obviously this coincided quite well with my body confidence, self-love journey that I've been trying to go on, and that's something that still is developing day by day, but I definitely find myself more confident and more in love with myself than I ever have done before, which I love, and I feel like that is something I really cherish and something I feel really lucky that I've been able to work on. And I do definitely think this year has given me that time to kind of not have that validation from one other person and to kind of give it to myself instead, knowing my worth. And I was very, very lucky that in my past relationship I never doubted that I was a good person, and my ex always complimented me on more than just my looks, and I feel like he did build me up with a lot of confidence, and I've been able to carry that on myself. And I know that's a really privileged position because I know not everyone's relationships end so nicely, and yeah, I feel like quite often after a breakup you can start to blame yourself and start to look in on what you've done wrong. But I knew that ultimately we weren't just meant for each other, and it was meant to kind of, you know, like we were both too busy, and it drifted off really nicely. So I didn't ever have that like kind of self-doubt that I think a lot of us have when you come out of a relationship, so that's really nice. I feel like if you want to see more about how I actually dealt with the breakup, then definitely go and check out my how to break up video. I kind of just gave you my tips and tricks of what I do when I'm going through a breakup, and that's definitely more of a fresh kind of take on it, whereas obviously now a year on I've kind of evaluated. But to be fair, looking back on that video, all them tips I believe in, and I do feel like them tips and tricks I gave you in that video were how I've got to how I am now a year on, and feeling so happy, so content. I'm not rushing to find someone else. In fact, I feel like it would have to be someone very, very special to stop me from living my single life. And that's not because I'm going out on loads of dates. It's purely just because I really enjoy my own company and enjoy the freedom of being by myself. And I say this, and people quite often jump to the conclusion that then in my past relationship I couldn't do what I wanted, which obviously I could. I was able to do whatever I wanted, but there's something about being single and kind of only worrying about your own things that you want to do that is a whole new level of freedom that, although I had that in my relationship, I feel like you kind of put yourself a bit more in the back burner quite often. Whereas now I'm like, whatever I want to do, I go and do it. And that's an amazing kind of place to be in. So in terms of dating and stuff, I've been on a couple of dates, kind of seen a couple of people, but all in all, I'm not the best dater. I realise it's really not what I like to do. I find dating itself, like actually going and meeting someone, really daunting. I get really scared for like a week before. I'm really nervous, and I don't know if that's because of the person or because of me. I just think all in all, I'm not the best at going on dates. I find chatting to people on Hinge and Tinder, FaceTimes, phone calls, I love, and I love that part of it, and I really find a lot of fun, and you can meet some really interesting people, but the actual meeting someone in person freaks the life out of me. And not because I don't feel safe, I think I just overthink everything, and I feel like the build up to a date always really scares me. As soon as I'm on a date, I'm fine, and I'm finding that the best dates are kind of going and doing an activity, yeah, just going and doing something fun. But dating is something I don't really want to touch too much on because I don't really want that out in the world. But just know that I have been on dates and have been seeing people and having some fun, but all in all, I don't love dating, and I feel like it's really hard in this day and age to actually date and find someone. I think it's so much easier to be able to meet someone in person instantly and kind of get a vibe when you're in person rather than meeting online. But unfortunately, the way I'm going to meet someone, I reckon it's going to be online. But yes, I'm not putting too much energy into that. I find it fun, and I find it's a nice little thing to do, but I'm not kind of actively seeking out someone, because I feel like that's when you tend to get in bad, like worse situations than if you kind of just let it happen organically and just flow. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to put in this video. I think I just wanted to come on and say that I've been single for a year now and I'm still fine. I think if you're going through a breakup at the moment and you kind of can't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you're feeling sad, it literally does just get less worse every day. And I know it sounds like really broken English, but I actually mean it in that way. It's like every single day is awful when you're going through a breakup, but every day it gets a little bit less bad. And I say that because it doesn't necessarily get better. I think it just gets the heartbreak and that pain just slowly, little by little goes. And then you sort of start building up that love for yourself, hopefully. And honestly, as I always say in all my body confidence videos, just make sure you're following creators that give you a lot of kind of boost in your self-confidence and really work on your self-love and body positivity. I feel like this is the time to do it. If you can find love for yourself when it's only you finding love for yourself, and that's amazing. I think it's so much easier, I think, to find self-love and body confidence when you're with someone giving you that extra validation. But to do it by yourself, and when it's just you being that person to give yourself the validation, then it definitely takes a little bit longer, but it's definitely the most pure form of it. And I feel like now I'm one of the happiest I've been in so long. I'm so sure of myself. I love all my hobbies. I'm so sure of my passions, my hobbies, my loves, my things I love to do. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it actually. There's obviously good days and bad days. Both of my best friends now are in relationships. So I find that whenever we hang around, all 5 of us, so them, their other halves and me, it does get a little bit daunting. And I feel like the thought of it is so much worse though. Make sure if you are in this position, you are open with your friends on how you're feeling. Like if there ever is a time when they're getting a bit too coupley, I say, guys, you're getting a bit too coupley, like, and that is fine. And yeah, just know that you're no lesser because they have a boyfriend and you don't. I think quite often we can kind of get it in our heads that they're better and that if you're in a relationship, you're better, you're more desirable. When in reality, it's just not your time, and that's absolutely fine. And you can still live a really fun life. I tell you, I have the best stories for all my friends because all my dating stories always tend to be quite funny, which maybe one day I'll tell you my funny dating stories, but for now that is just kept between me and my friends. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to make a video to say it's 1 year on and I'm really proud of myself, and I think you're allowed to be proud of yourself and express that. I am really glad of what I've achieved in this year. I feel like personally, like professionally, on social media, like everything I've done in this last year, I'm so proud of myself. And there's something to be said for feeling a little bit prouder when you've done it by yourself. And yeah, I mean, I say I've done it by myself, but I've had friends and family being amazing and helping me throughout all of it. But yes, have fun. Do you go traveling, eat your favourite foods, do your favourite things, and just enjoy this single time while you have it, because I'm sure we'll blink and then I'll be in a relationship. And yeah, I don't know, there's something about feeling so in tune with yourself when you're single that I love, and I'm really growing to love the single life. I'm going to end this video here because I know it's very rambly and I don't really know what the purposes of it was, apart from just say that I've been single for over a year and I'm still fine, and that you guys can too. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did like today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment what your favourite self-love tip is, and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!